Okay. So first off, what were your jobs that you did at the airport when 9/11 happened? Like, what were your job titles?
I was a customer service agent for Southwest.
And I was a ramp agent for Southwest.
Okay. And so, what was that day like for you? What were you guys doing on that day, and what do you remember from the actual day?
Well, that day we were actually supposed to go on our honeymoon. So we were getting ready to go to the airport to fly to LA. And we were both on vacation.
Yeah. Somebody called us and said, asked where we were because they weren't sure where we were, if we were in the air, what we were doing. So we were still at home. And they, told us what was going on, that it sounded like there was an attack on the Twin Towers. So we actually threw our bags in the car and drove to the airport, and there was really nothing leaving. So we went home. We didn't even have TV, did we?
No.
We didn't even have a TV yet.
So an antenna.
Yeah, we got an antenna for our TV just so we could watch the news, because otherwise we wouldn't have really known what was going on.
Okay. And so the days after that, or when you guys got back to work, how were things different? What had kind of changed with?
Everything was different. Security was different. The way we checked passengers in. They had ramp agents who typically would never be doing security screening. They were screening bags. They were basically opening up every single bag that we accepted and going through and doing what TSA currently does now. Our ramp agents were at the ticket counter doing.
And on the ramp, every bag was positive match. We had to verify the passengers were on the plane before we could load the bags. If a passenger got off the plane, we would have to take their bags off. There was no flying without your bags. I mean, it was just, or with your, there was no deciding I'm not going to go, because if you decided you're not going to go, then we have to pull your bags
right
off. So.
Or if somebody missed the flight,
right,
we had to locate their bag and pull it off.
And they were totally revamping security, because before 9/11, security was private security, and it was not probably what you would call the best security. A lot of the people were minimum wage people. And when 9/11 happened, they totally redid the whole security process, and Homeland Security took over everything and changed everything.
Well, and also before 9/11, us being airline employees, we didn't even have to go through security. We could go through the back way and get on a plane and go wherever we needed to go. And now, once 9/11 happened, every single person getting on that aircraft had to go through security.
And did anything change on what people could carry on to planes with them? Did limits on, because I know there's a limit on liquids, mm-hmm. the sizes of liquids you can take and carry on. Was that different beforehand? Or?
Yes. You could basically take anything that would fit in your luggage on with you before. I mean, people were taking full bottles of liquor.
Yeah, with the exception of guns and actual weapons.
All that
a knife
is always going to be the same. But you had to start taking, after farther down the road, after the shoe bomber and all that stuff, they started making everybody take their shoes off, and your shoes had to be screened.
And after a terrorist tried to detonate an explosive in his shoe back in December 2001, you'll need to take off your shoes to get through security.
It's a constant process with TSA now. They're constantly changing it, so nobody ever figures out what they're allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do, because it's constantly, iPads and stuff like that. For instance, now you have to take them out at the security checkpoint so they can be screened separately. Right after 9/11, you had to actually start them up to show that they were actually a working computer before you could take them through. And if they wouldn't turn on, if your battery was dead or something, they wouldn't turn on, you weren't allowed to take them on the plane.